Hello and welcome back to another ranking video. So in this one, I'm going to be ranking all of the villains from the Transformers movies. Now, to make this fair, I will rank each one individually. So there won't be, more than one grouped into one spot. So, as usual, before we start with the actual ranking, I'm going to give all of the candidates in order of their appearance. So, we have Megatron from Transformers 1. That's going to be important. Then we have The Fallen, Sentinel Prime, what's his name? Lockdown, Quintessa, Shatter, and Dropkick. Shatter and Dropkick will have their own respective places. So, let's start off with by far the worst villain. Oh my god. You know it, and I know it, alright? It's Quintessa. My god, she is such a terrible villain. It is actually unbelievable. Because she pretty much just retconned the whole lore of Transformers. You know that Primus was the original creator and stuff like that. Nope. 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 It's Quintessa. There's no thinking. Nope. So, I mean, it was cool hearing herself call her, hearing her call herself the prime of life. I think that's pretty cool. Her design is pretty cool, but she was bland and boring and emotionless pretty much. And she is another example of villains just turning Megatron into like a dog. Because he was not menacing in that movie. And Quintessa wasn't menacing either. So yeah, so she's by far the worst. Next up is the very first Decepticon, the OG himself, the Fallen. Now this guy you would think would be an amazing villain, considering that he is, a prime and he's actually the original Decepticon. However, he doesn't really do much in the movie. He maybe gets like one or two scenes where the viewer is like, oh, okay, this guy kind of means business. But he's more of a mustache twirling villain where he kind of just lets others, aka Megatron, do his dirty work for him. Because before Prime dies, he kind of just sits in his chair and he just talks a lot. So, I mean, his design is the okay, it's not that amazing. But, yeah, definitely nowhere near the best. And I was considering putting him at the bottom, but at least he's slightly more threatening than Quintessa. I did say that I was going to put them each in their own spot, so in the fifth spot we have Dropkick from Bumblebee, and Dropkick was honestly, he was just funny. Like when he comes to Earth and he shoots, I think his name is Roy, and then obviously he bursts. Dropkick's just like, I like the way they pop. And of course, when he and Shatter meet the humans, he's just like, oh, the humans are multiplying. Can I kill them, please? So Dropkick is kind of just a maniac who really, really wants to kill people. And I don't blame him. If I was him, I would kill all humans too. But one thing that makes Dropkick awesome is the fact that he's a triple change. I mean, he turns into an AMC Javelin and he turns into a helicopter. Tell me that is not badass. He also gets one of the best deaths in the franchise. He literally gets chained up and then ripped to pieces and he explodes. Also, there is just something that I would like to say, and that is that his face looks painfully similar to the Last Night Barricade's head. Is that just me, or do other people see it? Now, as much as it pains me to do this, I love Megatron. He is my favorite Transformer ever. However, in the first movie, he just was not the best villain. So that is why he's in fourth place. Megs takes 1 hour and 46 minutes to even do something. From the time the movie starts to the time he wakes up, it's been 1 hour 46 minutes. It's been 106 minutes. And Megatron, he basically just he basically just kills Jazz. That's the only thing he does in the movie. And while I admit his wake up scene is pretty cool, I think that it's really, really awesome. Especially when he says, I am Megatron. Just him, getting a flail, which is one of his, well, he only has like 2 weapons in the movie, this, and of course his gun. It's pretty cool, seriously, but I think that this Megatron was definitely lacking in terms of just being threatening, because while I will admit, I like his design, I think he looks really, really cool, he kind of just, he's not that scary. I mean, okay, when I look at this version of Megs, I always see him as a goblin, because I mean, just look at his nose. I always thought of Megatron as a goblin in this movie, and even though he's pretty cool in later movies, in the first one he's just not that good of a villain, which is why he is number 3. Now, next up, we are in the top 3 now. Next up is the Queen of Wakanda herself. It is Shatter. Shatter, I was considering putting below Megatron. However, after rewatching Bumblebee, because I rewatched each movie before I made this list, and Shatter was definitely a lot more threatening than Megatron, and I just thought that she was a brilliant villain. Shatter as well, just like her partner Dropkick, is a triple changer. She turns into a jet, and she also turns into a Plymouth satellite, which, oh my god, both those alt modes are just gorgeous. But seriously, just Shatter in robot mode, she is scary. Like, just look at her head. She is terrifying. And I just didn't know how Bumblebee was going to kill her. And then obviously when it happened, I was like, there's no way she's gonna die from that. And then obviously her head flew towards the screen. I was like, yeah, she's dead. So, I mean, overall, Shatter was a scary villain, a real threat, and she is more than worthy of being in the top 3. And now, obviously, you've pieced together who number 1 is. So, number 2 is Sentinel Prime from Dark of the Moon. This guy, oh my god, I love him so much. Seriously, just everything about Sentinel. Just the voice, of course, the voice is amazing. Leonard Nimoy, may he rest in peace. He did an amazing job. And just the overall design for Sentinel, how he looks like this old Prime. He kind of looks like Santa, honestly, but he does look like Optimus, just really, really old. I love his beard, I love his eyebrows, and I just love his old mode as well. The Rosenbauer fire truck looks absolutely fantastic, and Sentinel was pretty much an unstoppable foe, and I had no idea how Prime was going to beat him. But luckily for him, he had help from Megatron, and Megs, of course, just completely destroyed Sentinel Prime. So yeah, I mean, Sentinel, of course, was an Autobot, and he betrayed them and joined the Decepticons. However, just a little interesting fact is that Sentinel was originally going to be Ultra Magnus. However, I felt like that definitely wouldn't have sat well with fans, having Ultra Magnus betray the Autobots. So I think they did just change him to Sentinel Prime. And actually, speaking of Sentinel, in November, well, next month now, my original Venerable will come, the oversized studio series Sentinel Prime, and I'm so excited for that. So yeah, Sentinel, of course, takes runner-up spot, which of course means that Lockdown is number one. Oh my god, I love Lockdown so much. Firstly, he was the first Transformers villain I ever saw, so I already have a sense of nostalgia towards this character. Two, his voice is amazing, and of course, I do have a sense of connection with this character, considering, you know, I am voicing him in our fan movie, The Rise of Unicron. Autobots, Decepticons, like little children, always fighting, making a mess out of the universe. Then I've got to clean it up. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that impression. Lockdown is just, he's unstoppable. There was no questioning it. This guy is not an Autobot or a Decepticon. He is a bounty hunter. He is meant to kill other Transformers, whether they are primes or whether they are just random ones. This guy is one, he is very slender as well, and I felt like that really did contribute to him just looking amazing because he was so slick. And I know a lot of people didn't like the whole, you know, more humanoid looking Transformers in Age of Extinction. However, I absolutely love it, and I think that Lockdown, he just looks glorious, seriously. And of course, you know, his most famous weapon, he has a face gun. This guy has a face that transforms into a gun. How is that not badass? So, Lockdown, he pretty much beat Prime. There's no questioning it. Prime needed help from the humans in order to kill him. So yeah, Lockdown is the strongest, but he is just overall the most badass and threatening. So yeah, by far, my favorite Transformers villain of all time goes to Lockdown. So there you have my ranking of each of the Transformers villains, and I am very happy with my list. If you have a different opinion, which I'm sure you most likely do have, I would love for you to tell me in the comment section down below, even if you just say your favorite villain, because of course mine is Megatron, but I'm looking at this from a villain perspective, a writing perspective, and just overall Lockdown was the best. So if you did enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe, and goodbye.